The Berlin Foundation for Wellbeing builds compassion, empathy, and understanding for the mental health, mental wellness, and mental illness ecosystem through our research and projects. We understand the value in healing and that pain is inherent in our life experience. We feel that there are gaps in the mental health conversation and that using arts and culture to facilitate research and improved social collateral will help to address them. Essentially, we use arts and culture to reduce the stigma and improve our societal approach to mental health, mental wellness, and those affected by mental illness. We aim to further our understanding of energy, of emotion, and to improve the vocabulary around the human experience. Crafting these dynamic and resilient solutions will mean an improvement in how we communicate or approach social work and social sciences, as well as medical science. In order to launch a week-long celebration of mental health, mental wellness, and those affected by mental illness, we need to develop a few aspects first. Number one, attendees who would go to this kind of event as a form of entertainment and emotional fulfillment. Number two, programs that translate research, art, and science into meaningful, smaller bites for attendees. And number three, partners who can leverage this infrastructure to benefit their operational and fundraising needs. By gathering Calgarians together over 3 days each year, we can nurture these conversations and strategies to successfully launch at this festival program in Calgary between 2025 and 2027. But first, we must discover our community in order to learn how best to grow our community and then build our community for the long term. In order to understand the individual, the various communities, and the ecosystem as a whole, we are facilitating a series of conversations. We host our first major event, a virtual mental health town hall on Thursday, the 19th of November, 2020, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. This event connects the community to showcase work, share knowledge, and discover new partnerships that can move us forward. Our keynote speaker is Nancy Mannix, patron and chair of the Alberta Family Wellness Initiative, or AFWI, who will speak to work being done in Alberta by the Foundation. We will then work with the Design Lab from Alberta Health Services, D4AHS, to expertly gather information through design thinking sessions for us to disseminate into a report. This final document will be designed and sent to attendees, ensuring that their meaningful contributions are communicated to those that need it. The next step in our discovery phase is to engage in regular events and to host a quarterly conversation to get to know Calgarians throughout the year. These conversations inspire positive change for mental health in Calgary. They are meant to assist with developing resilience as a community, one in which we face life and its trials as a collective and learn the necessary information to become more durable, to choose our own adventure with confidence. Our first salon-style event happens in February 2021. We will focus on a timely topic, connecting arts and culture, mental health, mental wellness, and mental illness issues with everyday Calgarians. In this way, we can start to grow our community within the discovery phase of our foundation's development. In late 2021, we will launch a multi-day event-driven immersive event to initiate the development of an annual festival program within the city of Calgary. The narrative journey in this designed interpretive center or expo-style environment is through a curated maze of dynamic and art installations, workshops, presentations, and more using a combination of live performance and digital mediums. Through this crafted pilgrimage, we invite attendees into an engaged, controlled, emotional, and sensory experience. In order to successfully execute this operation, we need to be capable of doing good work, gather those willing to do the work, and commit to ongoing evolution of our best practices. With that in mind, our due diligence regarding governance and compliance has been a priority for the board. The festival and event programs, as well as the mandate for the foundation, are based on research, science, and narratives proven through years of study and practice. Our board works diligently to ensure that we design, plan, execute, and monitor our work so that we can respond to shifting demands accordingly. Our board of directors represent a variety of perspectives in order to reinforce the needs of the organization. We are a group of working professionals, business owners, parents, and advocates. A quick summary of those involved: with over 20 years supporting not-for-profit organizations and for-profit business development, Stacy Perlin provides overall organization stewardship. Knowledge stewardship is supported by Yamile Jesuai, a trained clinical psychologist with a master's in neuroscience, as we set overall foundation pathways and objectives. Our governance and legal aspects are handled by Eric Perlin and Travis Finlayson, bringing a combined 25 years of occupational health and safety, process and protocol development, and governance management. With a combined 40 years in global project execution and industry, Dolapo Bamboye, Ala Azawe, and Abdul Abdurrahman will lead project planning and program execution. Stephanie Steele supports the team with her administrative professionalism, leading the customer service aspects as a small business owner. Aruj Rashid is a University of Calgary med student, bringing 5 years of volunteer coordination to the foundation to help coordinate our invaluable volunteers and lead the youth-focused development. Marketing efforts are led by Stacy and supported by Joshua Blair, utilizing their combined 25 years designing content and strategy. Finally, we have Shazaib Rashid, a CPA candidate, who supports our grant applications and financial activities, helping us set up systems to ensure we operate efficiently. Currently, we operate solely on volunteers as we process our applications for startup funds. While we complete these processes, our pursuit of funding seeks to meet the cost of each endeavor as it is presented. For example, those involved in the preparatory webinar and town hall are volunteering their time and energy as well. This has been a humbling experience, especially as we operate in such a crisis-fueled environment. This brings us to festival program development. The festival program is an opportunity for us to introduce these solutions to the community and to individuals so that both may benefit from the endeavor. The idea here being that an individual attends an event and feels an immediate positive impact on their sense of self, while the services community integrates into the narrative so that their services are positioned in a meaningful way. These solutions have the great potential to positively impact the not-for-profit industry in an economical and cultural way. In order to set us up for success, we work with established theory, prove with practice and experience, and promote meaningful innovation. We've started with established work within the community. The Hotchkiss Brain Institute has been supporting us since early 2019. Their work since 2012 at the University of Calgary to advance early identification, treatment, and prevention of mental disorders has been quite successful. As well, the work being carried on by the Alberta Family Wellness Initiative to develop and promote the brain story since its origination in 2004 is a key asset in international conversations focused on policy improvement. The Canadian Mental Health Association, Calgary Region, is an organization that's worked for more than 65 years to provide a person and family-centered integrative service model and has been a phenomenal resource. Through our partnerships for learning and development, we are able to consistently improve our access to and understanding of the science around mental health, mental wellness, and mental illness. Authority in our case started with those who work in life-threatening or life-saving scenarios quite regularly. The City of Calgary, Alberta Health Services, and Calgary Police Services personnel helped us learn about relevant standards and protocols, experience the current education programs, and gain a sense of what rules Calgarians need to follow to be good neighbors and citizens of Calgary. We have been learning about Indigenous issues in an effort to support reconciliation, issues that affect those suffering long-term poverty, and the role of mental illness in recovery and critical service programs. We intend these conversations to be ongoing because they enable us to be aware and highlight research or initiatives for the public during our events. Leaders can be found everywhere, even in those not holding positions of authority. Leadership here infers a level of authority within their industry or on their mastered topic. These individuals and organizations spend time, money, and effort to establish the studies that make up the ground floor of our festival program. Which brings us to our innovators. recognized authorities or leaders who have applied their mastery into a new evolution of their craft, their science, or their understanding of the brain, emotion, and cognition systems. These vanguards have opened up conversations that stimulate change on a global level, improving the lives of many. Our work culminates in launching our Full Festival program in Calgary, improving the mental health, mental wellness, and mental illness ecosystem, and then steadily expanding that support to serve the world. In a Phase 1 draft report, Mental Health Literacy Project by the Canadian Alliance on Mental Illness and Mental Health from May 2007. Mental health literacy could be more broadly defined as the range of cognitive and social skills and capacities that support mental health promotion. This includes the capacity to act on social as well as individual determinants of mental health and mental illness. An expanded definition could serve as the basis for a comprehensive population health model for enhancing mental health literacy at all levels. Investing time and energy into these programs is a meaningful contribution to the city's economy, to Calgary Arts Development's arts-led city building strategy, and they work on multiple levels. These solutions toward our current epidemics of loneliness, isolation, chronic pain, depression, and anxiety are not short-term band-aids. We will host workshops that integrate 18 plus and 65 plus aged attendees, are accessible in person or virtually, normalize those affected by mental illness, and help people see themselves or their neighbors with more compassion. Next year, we launch a walkthrough of the narrative journey. While it may be virtual due to COVID-19 pressures on public health, it will cover the emotional and designed environmental elements of our program. We are working with our advisors to continue strategic planning for fall 2021. The next phase of our multi-day festival program will be planning, execution, and monitoring a prototype of the multi-storied structure. Using this stage of development to test out design ideas for transferability and durability. We will also be integrating more technology into the structure for ease of transportation and access during the event. We will be maxing our attendance numbers at this time using our planned location, so we'll likely shift to our new planned home for the 2023 edition. We then build the festival around the prototype, letting the codes of conduct within the narrative experience ripple throughout the grounds. What is typically associated with festivals? Maybe it's the extended food truck garden, stands and displays to get to know local vendors and service providers, and local entertainment to help us celebrate. This encourages each guest to truly make a day of the festival and the city to make the most from the social and economic opportunities of the multi-day event. Ultimately, this pop-up interpretive center that works like an expo for mental health, mental wellness, and those affected by mental illness will be able to travel to cities across Canada, growing through their arts and culture communities to serve the rest of their city, enhancing mental health literacy at all levels. So that brings us to a wrap on our big story. We are committed to a collaborative approach as we know that we cannot do this successfully without our community, our volunteers, and our own self-awareness. Our partners help us to provide meaningful value to our community. They help us communicate science that progresses us as an empathetic society and celebrates knowledge and learning in ways that we can truly appreciate. Sometimes they act as partners in our business development, our promotional partners through sponsorship agreements, or even work as knowledge and content sharing peers. Our community is enriched and nurtured from their involvement. Currently, we're focused on covering operational expenses as we build our capacity. We typically forge partnerships to access science, authority, leadership, or innovators so that we may promote their work to those that might directly benefit in our community. Tiers of agreements are community agreements in which you or your organization promotes us and we promote you. Operational agreements in which you or your organization contributes directly to an aspect of the festival program. Or sponsorship agreements in which your organization wants to improve financial accessibility, i.e. subsidize tickets for vulnerable youth, or enable an authority to present, or they want to share their service with the public. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate you taking the time to get to know more about the Berlin Foundation for Wellbeing and our work